Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Salutations to all with folded hands. I mean, namaste. This is a very special event and a very special episode, and that is to conduct what is called Floccinaucinihilipilification of the great moon god, Shashi Tharoor. Shashi means moon. So you must be very, very cognizant of that fact. Unless you are cognizant of that fact, you will not be able to render full justice to it. Therefore, we take cognizance of his moon-like qualities and honoring him as a proper dilettante, I have also decided to wear red. See this? This is actually a tribute to the qualities of Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor. I don't know how to pronounce Tharoor, but I think the proper anglicized pronunciation should be Tharoor. So Mr. Shashi Tharoor. So here we are, Mr. Shashi Tharoor. Here we are here to conduct what is called, once again, Floccinaucinihilipilification. What does it mean? It means, according to Queen's English and Queen's Oxford Dictionary, it means the act of estimating as worthless. समझ में आ रहा है भाई साहब? हिंदी वालों, आप लोगों को क्वींस इंग्लिश से थोड़ा सा वैर रहता है. But now I must teach you proper Queen's English. Unless you know proper Queen's English, you will not be able to make any estimation of our Right Honorable Shri 1008 1008 Shashi Tharoor. Okay, here we are. So Mr. Shashi Tharoor, let me come to something, let me lay down the parameters. The parameters are like this. Your entire career is embellished with such great accomplishments that I would be loath to go into the personal dimensions of that. So I will confine it to your public pronouncements, and I've chosen 3 of them. What are those 3? The 3 of them is, first of all, of course, that yesterday that you did, that terrible, I should say, the abomination of being so cross with a certain deliquescent aqua dram. It means only vaccine. So you were very cross with the vaccine, and you got very personal with that vaccine. And you said that, okay, unless there is a 3-stage trial, the 3rd stage trial, unless that has been done, then you would not consider importing it in your denouement. Oh, sorry, I think a little bit of wrong usage, but then I also get carried away sometimes. So you would not comport with it. Why? Because the 3rd stage trial has not been conducted. Then he asked me on Twitter. I think I would request the desk to please show that particular Twitter conversation that we had. I must admit that I am greatly indebted to Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor for following me. I also follow him. Actually, we know each other for a very long time from our days in cricket. Okay, let me not say more. So we know each other from our days in cricket, and we love each other. I think we have that same sentiment towards each other. So no offense meant. And I'm sure our dear Shashi Tharoor is going to take all this in very good spirit, in his proper Oxford, Washington spirit. I'm not talking about the other spirit. I'm talking about the spirit of men and women, the spirit that inheres in the human beings. Of course, we'll come to that also, because when he starts talking about they became us, there the definition of human beings, of course, becomes different. So, okay, let's come back to the brass tacks. Brass tacks. Point number 1. Why does Shri Shashi Tharoor dislike a vaccine that is manufactured in India? Here is the full conversation, the exchange. Let me read it out. That Tipu, this Tipu is not Tipu Sultan, by the way, okay? This Tipu is our Achilles Tipu of Uttar Pradesh. So see, this Tipu would find it objectionable to use the vaccine was expected. I think we've done an episode on that. You could just refer to it. It is done in Hindi. So it's okay for anyone to go there. Please, I haven't read it out. Let's have it back on the screen. Okay. So the Tipo would find it objectionable to use the vaccine was expected, but to find the perspicacious Shashi Tharoor defenestrate the deliquescent aqua dram through the porthole was something one could not associate with even his deracinated demeanor. Well, he responded to this. And what does he say? I will use the vaccine once the phase 3 clinical trials are concluded and it's proven to be safe and effective. Would you use it now? You in capitals, okay? All capitals, YOU. Use it when it hasn't. First of all, I must thank Shri Shashi Tharoor for condescending to talk to me or speak to me in the plebeian language. I mean, he was not himself. He actually condescended to come down a notch and spoke to me in the plebeian language. And to which I responded, of course, I will. Well, that's how the exchange went. Now, one must consider the boundaries of his reservations. What are his reservations in using this vaccine? Certainly, it doesn't have anything to do with the emergency authorization of Covaxin, which is 100% India-made vaccine, and also it has been proven all over the world. It is not an RNA-based vaccine. It is a conventionally prepared vaccine which is effective against all mutations. Unlike the fancy Pfizer vaccine, the Moderna vaccine, and also the other vaccine that we are going to use, the Covishield vaccine that is being produced by the Serum Institute, and that is also being produced indigenously, though the seed is from outside, seed is from Oxford. So everyone, all the scientific people in the scientific community, all of them are attesting to not only the efficacy, but also to the general, I should say, the wide spectrum efficacy of this Covaxin thing, and emergency authorization, which has been given to the Covaxin, is something that is standard practice. WHO also has gone on record. Of course, a lot of people think that WHO is Chinese, but even if it is Chinese, that also has gone on record and actually placed its appreciation to India on record. Also, the Covaxin is going to be used by the highest number and highest percentage of the countries in the world. Why? Because it can be used at 2 degrees to 8 degrees. It doesn't require those fancy refrigeration infrastructure of minus 60 degrees that Moderna and Pfizer require. Then, what is the objection of a Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor? Because Mr. Shashi Tharoor has an inveterable, absolutely inveterable urge to follow the leader. The leader has to be followed. Who's the leader? Leader is he's not that fancy. He doesn't have that accent of Mr. Shashi Tharoor. He is more like us. Yeah, I mean, he's very, very down to earth. Our Rahul Gandhi of the what is called Milan right now. He's in Milan right now, doing some Sneh Milan in Milan. That's what is going on. So he has to follow the leader, and not just he has to follow the leader, he also has to follow the mullah. What does the mullah say? A mullah says, "Ay deen walo, ay iman walo, ya khayal rakhna ये जो वैक्सीन है ये काफिरों ने बनाई है और काफिरों की बनाई हुई वैक्सीन हराम होती है और हराम वैक्सीन को हम ईमान वाले किसी भी तरह से कबूल नहीं कर सकते. When Mr. Shashi Tharoor, he heard that, then he came to the conclusion that there was no way that he was going to defy the mullah, because the mullah was going to be the one who was going to be his benefactor in the long run. He was the one who was going to provide him with the wherewithal to come to the parliament. And with that wherewithal under threat, if he defied the mullah also actually AMM class, the entire AMM class is mullah. Ashrafia, mullah, maulana. Therefore, Mr. Shashi Tharoor decided that it was in his best interest to continue playing the dilettante, keep flaunting his scarf, keep flaunting his that what is called the pocket cloth, and and stay the course. That is how the vaccine is now anathema to him. So that's about the vaccine. Now come to the second part, the more important part, where he says that the Hinduism is different from Hindutva. That's something that which I have been questioning him for a long time, but he doesn't respond except for being evasive, going this side and that side, but never coming to the front line, never taking the main line, always going into the loop lines. Whenever my electric engine WAP, or now I can use the WAG12 also. So when the WAG12 of Sanjay Dixit comes hurtling down the main line, the WDG just goes into the loop line. It doesn't confront at all. It started a long time back. It started in 2018 when I had first invited him to have a debate with Dr. David Frawley. And at that time, he chose to go to Bangalore on the same day, telling me, of course, all the exchanges are on record. So even if he comes and tweets tomorrow and say that, I did not get a confirmation from him, let me remind him that I have all the confirmation on record from his own executive assistant. And then his own executive assistant also did inform me that Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor had been directed by his party to go for some urgent meeting in Bangalore. Well, Jaipur dialogues was not such a priority, and I thought, okay, the party work always takes precedence. So if he was going to go to the party work in Bangalore, it was perfect. But then lo and behold, on the same date on which he had this appointment, which he had confirmed, and confirmed well in advance, more than 2 months in advance, which he had confirmed, and he said that, okay, party work took precedence. What was the party? Actually, it was party. It was not party work. It was party. And the party was in Bangalore Lit Fest. And lo and behold, Dr. Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor was out there in the Bangalore Lit Fest pontificating from the pulpit. The Right Honorable Pope that he has, the Pope of the natural sentiments of all the sentimental liberals, and the Pope of liberals was actually pontificating from the pulpit in Bangalore Lit Fest on the same day. And when I raised the question with him, he kind of gave me the cold shoulder and shrugged me off. And poor me, I was having Jaipur dialogues, very small, and that too kind of an illiberal platform, so I could not have complained. So, well, I kept silent. But then, let me dissect his Hinduism. His Hinduism actually is a conspiracy to disarm the Hindus of their military quality, what is called the Kshatriya Dharma, the Kshatra. He tries to project Mahatma Gandhi's Hinduism as the true Hinduism. And what we call Hinduism, or he disparagingly calls Hindutva, as actually our Sanatana Dharma, which says that Shastra and Shastra go together. which says that in order to protect dharma, you have to do karma and you have to take the shastra in your hand, which actually gives you the teachings of the Gita, and which say that in order to defend your dharma, any amount of physical violence is fine as long as you are not attached to it mentally. It differentiates between kriya and karma. And well, then here, of course, he says, so all religions are the same. Well, if all religions were to be the same, then why would the mullah and the missionary tell us that we would all go to hell? And if we are all destined to hell, then how would all religions be the same? If all religions were to be the same, Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor, then we would have an equal shot at the Christian heaven and the Muslim Jannat. But that is not to be, because they are different, they are exclusive, they consider their belief to be the supreme, they are the owners of the truth. Now we got two owners of the same truth. I am actually at a loss to understand which owner has the correct truth, even if that be the truth. And that truth actually inheres in a belief. So Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor thinks that Hinduism is a belief, which it is not, of course. You can all read my little monograph, All Religions Are Not the Same. And I am prepared to debate Shashi Tharoor. Of course, he's too big. He's a member of parliament. And not just a member of parliament, with a great pedigree. I don't eat pedigree. Anyway, so that was point number 2, the Hinduism versus Hindutva debate, which he has been propagating all on his own, within his own club. And I'm don't know trying to influence who, but never coming to a platform to debate it with the people who actually have an idea of what Hinduism is and what Hindutva is. People who know their scriptures, people who understand the various time concepts, logic concepts, the epistemology, the cosmology, the eschatology, that differentiates the different faiths or different systems, that differentiates the dharma from the Abrahamic systems, the Abrahamic beliefs. But that he's not prepared to do. I told you right in the beginning. And then his final coup de grace. What is this final coup de grace? The coup de grace is that he says that, okay, these British, these damned Goras, they came here and they enslaved us and they made us paupers and they took away all of our beauty. Oh, sorry, booty. Sometimes, my Avadhi background, takes precedence. And I confuse between booty and beauty. So over here, I don't mean pulchritude. I mean the what is called male booty. Okay, so they took away all the booty and they impoverished us, and they need to pay us reparations. Okay, so somebody asked him, what about the Muslims who devastated us, and not only economically but also culturally? Well, he says, they became us. Well, this is a very fine argument, very, very, very subtle. So I kind of asked him on Twitter sometime. He did not respond. So my simple thing was, because I am a bit of a plain thinker in the sense that I am, first of all, not a dilettante. I'm not a dilettante because, though I'm trying to be one, you see this red scarf I put. There's just an attempt to kind of, you understand what I'm trying to do. Okay, so they became us. That is, the Muslim rulers, they became us. So they became us means what? Did they become Hindus? No, they became Indians. They belong. The battle of belonging. That's his latest book. And I can claim, sir, because sometimes it's also a question of pedigree, whether I'm pedigreed enough. So just for information, my book for last 1 month is ahead of his book, Battle of Belonging, in Amazon ranking. So I can say that I have the locus standi. So I have the locus standi to challenge Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor. So, Mr. Tharoor, how did Muslim rulers become us and the British did not? The logic is, let me try and understand this, okay? I'm trying to understand. This is just loud thinking. Okay, a robber comes and that robber robs you of all your belongings. And after robbing you, he leaves. So whatever little you are left with, you come back to your house and then you try and get your life together once again, and you try and make whatever you are left with, and you make good with that, and you try and restart your life. Okay, so that's one kind of a scenario. That's apparently what he thinks the British had done to us. Okay. Now there is another scenario. A robber comes. That robber, he loots you. That's fine. Then he also breaks your little temple that you built in the house. That also he does. Okay, fine. Then what he does, that he also commits rape and sodomy within the house. Okay. Then he throws you out and he occupies the house. Okay, you understand what I'm trying to say? And he occupies the house and he throws you out into the wilderness. Now you go to the jungles or wherever you can find, and you try and get the pieces of your life together, and you try and live down that humiliation, and you try to restart the life. Then he comes back, and then he tells you that you bloody pay jizya. That's a survival tax that you have to pay. So you pay jizya also. Then whenever it comes to his fancy, he comes there and he just picks up a female member of your family and takes her and puts in his harem, which is actually your house. Now, for this great favor that is being done by this particular robber, he has become us. You understand? They became us. So a robber who just robs you and goes away is a robber. But a robber who robs you, rapes your women folk, breaks your temple, and occupies your house becomes you. You understand the difference? So that is the sheer, what is called, the beauty. Not booty, this is beauty. This is the sheer beauty and sheer pulverizing logic of being a Shashi Tharoor. If you heard that roar, Mr. Tharoor, then you know that we've come to the end of this talk. We were talking, and now we have come to the end of the talk. But is it going to have any effect on Mr. Shashi Tharoor? Obviously not, because I'll tell you why. Because a superannuated canine cannot be instructed in courant methodologies. समझ में आया? नहीं आया ना? शुरू में मेरे भी नहीं आया था. It simply means that you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Jai Shri Ram. Okay, there are questions. Oh, I'm surprised. Why are people asking questions? This is contempt of Mr. Shashi Tharoor.
Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.
Chaitanya Davaruri, they have become us or they want us to become them. High time our so-called woke generation realizes. Yes, certainly. Certainly, I am 100% agreement with you. What is agreement called in Shashi Tharoor's? Please find out. Desk, let me know. Okay, next. Eklavya Singh is Mr. Tharoor's exasperating farrago of distortions about the vaccine and attempt to compete for the top post in the Congress committee. Heaven forbid. If he even so much as gives it a thought, then people will say, perish the thought or perish the man. I think perish the man will become more likely. So, you perish the thought, otherwise, you will perish the man. Poonavabbi, SD sir, you don't get it. Okay. I and you. That means you also don't get it, I also don't get it. ST probably believes that the robbers became us. He only means him. As he knows, that is what he is. I do not commit contempt of a member of parliament. I do not want to be hauled by the privileges committee. He is not referring to Hindus living in Hindustan. Maybe referring to Hindus living in Thiruvananthapuram, maybe. That's more likely. Let's investigate this further. Certainly, I don't want to be hauled up for contempt. Next one. Godslayer, Shashi Tharoor is a neo-atheist who uses any excuse to belittle Sanatana Dharma and only Sanatana Dharma. Enough said. Sir, you are committing contempt of our guest, Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor. So, I must join issue with you. I'm extremely cross and annoyed that you committed contempt of Right Honorable Shashi Tharoor. Okay, Shashi Tharoor is not an intellectual. Again, another contempt. Why are people committing contempt? Please do not commit contempt. He perhaps has only his body parts surgically removed in service of Her Majesty and in honor of the Shahi Imam of Islamabad. Oh no, not Shahi Imam of Islamabad. He actually goes and pays obeisance at the Mufti Azam Abu Bakr Musliar. No, Abu Bakr Musliar. He is the head of the Barelvi denomination in India. He's a Malayali, and he is a descendant of Ali Musliar, that butcher of Malabar. The butcher of Malabar who led the Malabar riots, the Malappa riots against the Hindus. So he goes and lies prostrate at his feet. Sneha Party, thank you, sir. Thank you, all viewers. And once again, with folded salutations, we depart. Namaste.
Press the bell icon on YouTube and don't miss another update.